It is cold outside, but it's warm in here.
It is. This is packed. Now, there's somebody in every inch of this place. This is season 15, episode 1. So we are starting a whole new season, and that's great because we are here because it is time to kickstart and get it going. And instead of it ending at the end of January and you're all depressed, by February, we're going to keep going. So the Spirit of God is what's moving everybody, and praise God that He is doing that. And you know it. Jesus said, you'll know them by their fruit. And the fruit here is that we've got an unbelievable, just looking across the audience, everyone in here is born again. And you can't enter the kingdom of God, Jesus said, unless you are born again. It's time to get started. And for some people that have been born again, they were overweight. They were overweight almost many, many, many years of their lives. And now they are not. One's lost 70, one's lost, I think, 130. And another one's lost about 130. So please join me in welcoming Lanya, Kangas, and Dianne, Clifford, and Rhonna, Rickman.
You can be free. You can they're free. Be seen for eternity. Without God and the Son, Jesus, everything must be
Okay, so Lanya, why don't we start with your beautiful testimony?
Okay, I'm Lanya Kangas. I actually started way down in 1999. I was pregnant with my son, and I weighed less after giving birth to him than I did when I got pregnant. But I didn't stick with it. I didn't understand it, but it was always in the back of my mind. Way down was always there. So I gained quite a bit of weight, and it was actually the new year. I decided to they started the first Facebook class, Way Down did, and so I went ahead and joined. And so since 2012, I've lost 130 pounds. And I did lose most of that first year. There was a few plateaus that I had. I remember doing Breakthrough. And week 7, purposeful responsibility. And it was definitely life-changing. I was responsible for what I thought. I was responsible for what I put on my mouth, what I did, anything, and ultimately my own salvation, my relationship with God. And then I started losing weight again. But then as well, I did have, in 2017, my husband passed away, and I was at a lull with everything that was going on, and after that, it was just amazing. I just started getting on my face and just looking at my life to see how much I've changed. It was just to see how God wooed me and how much He loved me. And He would send me scriptures about Him being my husband and rebuilding the wall. And it was just so amazing. And I honestly feel that the weight loss is just minute. My heart is, 10 times that much weight. I have such an amazing life and amazing family here. It's just so incredible, so incredible.
That is incredible, though. As we all know, that's an incredible testimony right there. That is amazing. So, okay, all right, Dianne.
Thank you for having me, Gwen.
I mean, this is very exciting.
Thank you. So my story also started in 1999. I was living in Michigan, and my uncle, he worked at a university, so I was there visiting him, and one of his coworkers said to me about Way Down. And so he told me about that, and so I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So I signed up for that, a Christian weight loss program. And I said, well, let me check into that. So I signed up for a class, and God was so merciful during those first, it was the Change series. And so for the first 2, I took classes back to back, and I lost, I think it was 35 pounds at that point. And so then time proceeds, and I didn't stick with the message, and I would take classes intermittently. And so, but God was merciful. Most of the weight I had kept off, and I was sort of at an acceptable level for a while, and then I gained 11 pounds. And I couldn't get it off or anything. I even did some kind of a weird fast lemon juice and maple syrup, or something like beverage of some sort, for like maybe it was 7 days. And I didn't even lose 1 pound. And so I knew that was God. God was totally prompting me that this isn't the answer of going on a weird fast to lose the 11 pounds that, it was greed. It was greed. I knew it was greed. I knew I still had greed in my heart for food. And so at that point I came down to Desert Oasis 07, and, but I was still slow. And so it took me to the following year to actually go back into a class up in Michigan, and then I lost the 11 pounds, and then I lost 15 pounds more, and so that's where I am now. So that was 10 years ago, so I've had a total of 70 pounds off.
70 pounds?
Yep.
So in increments? And okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, from 99 to 09, it was up and down and up and down, and then since 09, from now, it's been off.
Okay. Now that probably sounds like, and that is not far from a very typical, but 70 pounds, let's give her a hand for 70 pounds. Okay, we'll come back around, but let's go to Rhonna now, and let's find out.
I think it's so funny because we sat back in the back, and I didn't even realize this till they started talking, but I found Way Down in 1999, and I left, drifted away and gained my weight back, and we just looked through old pictures. I was pregnant with my second daughter, with Alex, whenever I first found Way Down. And so whenever I had her, I was the smallest I had been yet, at that point. And then I gained my weight back, and I came back in 2006. So my first Desert Oasis was the Treasure Desert Oasis, the same first Desert Oasis she came to as well. And my life just completely changed. It's been a complete life change. The whole part of it, parenting, marriage, every single part of it. The weight loss, like 80 pounds came off initially, and then it's been like, losing a cycle throughout the past 12 years. So it's been an amazing journey. I'm so grateful. And I love all of you guys on the Facebook group. We're excited that you're here, and on Gwen's Facebook page and live, and hopefully the audio is working. I know we have a little test with the audio, but we're excited to hear your questions and everything. So I just think it's so fun to hear the same exact thing. We're probably all in similar age range too, so we were all at that certain age, we were hurting at the same time or something, and so we just were seeking, but in very different parts of the, country, and so, anyway.
Okay, so now, were all y'all overweight as teenagers, or was it later?
No, I actually modeled for a little bit, and I got very ill, and then I started eating to fill that hole in my heart. That's what I thought you would do. That's
so it was later in life when you gained the weight. So was it childhood for you?
Pretty much, yeah. I was pretty much always kind of chunky as a child, and thinned out for a little bit during a growth spurt, but pretty much, and then I gained weight in high school and gained weight in college. So So, and always just very overly self-conscious and very shy, and just didn't want to be the center of attention, didn't want to walk past people. I didn't want anybody to look at me.
It affects your entire life.
Oh, yeah.
You wonder, like, what would the life of that child have been like had it not been, had the parents had the answer and they could have helped their child. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. But Rhonna, for you, was it?
Well, I remember my mom was always very overweight and did diets consistently. And I was raised with my mom and my sister. And my sister struggled. So doing a diet was the complete norm. Like, I don't remember just
eating regular.
Well, if I ate like a frozen pizza or something, it's like because I was sneaking it, or it was a cheat day or something like that. But, I manipulated all the things. And I did every single diet available, I'm pretty sure. I spent a fortune. I spent a fortune of my
a fortune. Oh, definitely spent a fortune.
Yes.
The world has spent a fortune on all the different foods and
with
concoctions and that type thing. Okay, so while Facebook, we are excited about you being on and streaming, and please join us with Lunch with Gwen too. All of it together. We just know that this is New Year's resolution and time, and we are going for it. And this is a great week to start. And so now the difference is going to be, we are not quitting. We're basically going to learn how to keep going, and by turning to God, with a very different feeling when you maybe feel like you've messed up and you want to throw in the towel. That it'll be different because we're basically adopting a lifestyle, and we're learning how, these amounts and what works. And a lot of times we're going from extremes to you keep ratcheting it down to where we're in this category of a moderation, and you have this continual weight loss all the way down. Okay, now, but we all have experienced, and David, I'm sure you lost the 35?
About 30, 35. Yeah.
35. Okay, and I don't know if it seemed like your testimony was it just...
Oh, my word.
Straight
a word
down?
to the... Yeah, just
was
the weight part.
Was it straight down?
Yeah, pretty straight down.
But you could still, plateaus. Like when you plateaued out and you think, okay, I'm stuck, and I keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Those things it's so discouraging. And, or you got that last 20 pounds to lose kind of thing. All right, we're going to pick the brains of these people right here. So be turning in your questions, but in the meantime, we're going to be interviewing these women who have not only lost a significant amount of weight, and David, you jump in there too, but a significant amount of weight, but they all had their times of plateaus, and they had to get re-kick-started. So you've already given some of it away because you said you were inspired by something in the...
Yeah, breakthrough, week 7, purposeful responsibility, and just that, it being my responsibility. And...
that finally clicked.
Yeah. And and it's part of the transfer. So, it's like, okay, I don't want to focus on the food. I don't want to focus on self. I want to transfer it onto God. So when I remember this one time I was at work in the bathroom, and went in the bathroom because I wanted this piece of chocolate so bad, but and I started praying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the transfer. I'm doing this. Then I got excited and I forgot about the chocolate, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
You can do this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so week 7 of breakthrough. Mm-hmm. And anything else that would kickstart?
I've always been in a class that's very important. And also just relationships. Dianne and I have a very good relationship. We're really good friends, and it's very sweet. We'll hold each other's arms up, to God, and just hold each other accountable, and that's just very, very helpful. An accountability partner was very helpful to me, just being able to go through, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, and just being able to talk to somebody that has been there before. It was very helpful.
So you used it. You didn't just get an accountability partner and then talk to them one time and then never call them back up. You actually utilized it.
Right.
Okay, so those are big deals. It's all very important. Okay, so Dianne, what motivated you?
Well, I guess I oftentimes think about, because we know this message, because we can have this relationship with God, I just think about in the last 10 or 20 years, the life that I would not have lived and all the things I couldn't do, like just the connection with God and all the blessings and the fun things, like just the hiking, just things that we can actually do now, because I'm thinking 70 pounds heavier. I mean, and that was years ago. Imagine now I could be who knows how big. And so just the thought of not being able to have that connection with God. And I also think about, too, not being able to be there for friends or family. Because before I was so self-focused and I wasn't able to be there for somebody else. And so if you just don't have it to give, you just can't. So I'm like, wow, what a blessing from God that, you actually can be happy for your coworker when they get a raise, or you really do want to know how your neighbor's doing. And so we actually have, and this joy, it's just this amazing life that we get to live with God. And so my motivation's like, wow, if I just turn that back onto myself and think that I have all the answers and I get to make my day, then all those blessings are gone. And I was like, so it's just day by day making that choice that we are going to live for God. And this is definitely the abundant life of living with God. So it's a matter of staying in a class. It's for sure staying in a class. It's always listening to All Access on the way to work and the way back from work, and wanting to get together to do Bible studies or read the Love Book. It's just completely staying involved. It's reaching out to others either if you're hurting or just, there's always somebody to reach out to, and that helps keep us, accountable, and both sides. So it's just, really, it's just truly an amazing life that just so full of joy when we have this relationship with God. And I learned that here, of course. Mm-hmm. I only learned that here through classes, so.
There was religion out there, but the relationship was talked about.
Right.
But until someone's telling you how to get there, it's kind of hit and miss. But okay, so if you keep noticing, take notes. I mean, they're talking about a variety of things here, but it's all pointing back into you're out of self, you're onto others, you're onto God, you're focusing upward. And so all of that helps with this situation of getting this weight off. So
when you're talking about this, that it reminds me of the Facebook group, because the group is that group of friends that you initially have and become close to. They're doing the exact same thing as you. So there may not be like, I could call Dianne or Lanya or Gwen, we could see each other because we're all in this area. But when you're away and you need someone, that is what that group is for. You can truly connect. You post your questions or you post your praise. And I think, this past week there was so much weight loss. It was just motivating to everyone. But staying connected and realizing this life we have, I went back to visit family and mentioned that I went on a trip with 27 friends. So normal, like I had forgotten that would be non-normal. And my sister-in-law was like, I don't even know 27 people. I'm not friends at all with, and she's like pondering it, and she's like one or two. I mean, and so, but it's the reason that we have friends is because our hearts changed. And it was every word, it's all that waiting for the growl made me trust God. It's the words that you would teach us in each class. I did change class first too, and I just remember that every word was just trusting God, and so then I trusted God that I could trust these people, that I could be friends with these people, and then they would point me to the truth. But truly the Facebook group has it has that impact. You can become friends and have all these connections and talk to any of us, and ask that question, or like, I'm going out to eat and I don't know, and so make the connections and do it for yourself so you can share the same stories, so that you don't have to be here, you can do this and have the connections, have the love and the peace, and keep plugging in and not giving up. And that was the main thing you always said. You always said in that change class, you go, come on, where else are you gonna go? Or what else are you gonna do? Or however you say it, and you're like, oh, what else am I gonna, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna keep going. It's like you being up, trying every diet, but you knew this was the answer. And it is truly, we all tried 1 million diets, and this one's the one. And it really does work. And it's the answer. It's the answer to joy, to peace, good sleep, good health, friends, and a happy marriage and happy kids. And my kids don't have to wonder what to do, or if I'm gonna come home, or any of the things that maybe kids are dealing with, the choices that are being made. So it's beautiful. I'm forever and ever and ever grateful.
It's incredible what God's given us.
It is amazing.
So, David, even though you may have just lost your weight straight down, what do you tell people is a great kickstart?
I think I would start like from a macro perspective and just say, it's amazing how God has allowed your gift, what he's given you, this ministry, this church, to exist in the most unique time in history that's ever been. It's never been easier, kind of to your point about being connected. It's never been easier in human history to communicate with anybody in the world, literally at any time, with just a couple of taps. I mean, and maybe you don't have a smartphone, but for those who do, and I would imagine that's the majority of you, or you're watching on Facebook, there's this innate desire, and you've always said this, Gwen, for people to connect and socialize, and it's never been easier to do that. But just like with anything, you said 2 people could be eating a piece of chocolate cake. One is doing it out of greed, and they don't need it. The other one is just enjoying something wonderful and delicious that God made, and he's granted permission to do that. Well, same thing with social media, same thing with the internet, same thing with how you spend your time. You can be plugged into Facebook, and you can be taking all these classes, but if you spend equal amount of time or other hours of your day wallowing in all the negativity on Twitter and worried about politics, or guys obsessing over your sports teams, that negative is gonna eventually outweigh the positive. So I would say, start by just really unplugging from all the stuff in the world that just distracts you. And it ends up frustrating you because you don't agree with something, and then what do? You go grab a snack because you're depressed. Mm-hmm. So just spend your time away. I mean, we need to know what's going on in the world and all that. That's not the point. The point is that if you really just exclusively took, today, and then Gwen says, get up tomorrow, and then you got a week under your belt, and then 2, and then 4, and then 5, and that heartbeat that you talk about, how a baby has a heartbeat at week 5, that heartbeat for God really kicks in, and you don't even hear the noise of the world anymore. Yeah, you're in the world. Yeah, you go to work. Yes, you've got your responsibilities, but you're so locked into God that you can, to borrow Gwen's original copyrighted, patented phrase, you can truly rise above the magnetic pull. How prophetic and profound was that you knew what this would be more than 30 years ago in your original tapes, that it was all about rising above and existing in the world, but not being pulled down by the world or by the refrigerator. So in summary, I would say spend a lot less time worried about all the negativity and just getting caught up and just invest more time, more of your ear time, more of your eye time, more of your typing time into just this, and you'll just forget about the stuff that used to test you and frustrate you. And I've only ever learned that here. Every other time I ever tried it, I will say, when I came to Way Down, I lost the weight quickly. But before Way Down, between my elementary 5th grade year and then starting middle school, which is, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, oh, what a stressful time. I probably gained 35 pounds in one summer between 5th and 6th grade because the stress of going from the oldest kid in the school to being now the youngest kid that everybody's gonna pick on. And I kept that weight on for 4 years, and then my 10th grade year, I lost a bunch, slowly gained it back, and then college was up and down and up and down. And then the first 6 years of our marriage, from age 22 until we came to Way Down at age 28, up, down, up, down. And so Way Down was the catalyst to making it permanent. But all at the same time, and a word to the men out there, look, credit to the ladies. At least they get up and admit, God, I've got to lose this weight. God, this doesn't feel right. The guys, we're living in a time where they're trying to normalize the term dad bod. You heard the term dad bod? Like once a man gets to be a certain age, it actually is just as attractive or just as cool, and we should just accept that guys are just gonna gain weight, and that's just part of it, and everybody just needs to deal with it and accept it. Well, men, I would say raise the bar. At least the ladies are saying, oh, I don't wanna live this way. I don't wanna live this way. I don't wanna live this way. I don't wanna live that way, and you guys shouldn't wanna do it either. So honestly, I would say they're the more humble of the two, the men and the women. So I would call on the men out there to say, let's put that behind us, and let's join these ladies who are leading the way in so many ways. And I learned how to be a better man from listening to a woman talk about God and then putting that into practice. And so unplug from the negative, spend more hours on this, and you'll start to forget the stuff that tests and frustrates you. That's what I would say.
I mean, it's beautiful. The perfect words. Okay, we've got some questions coming in here, and our first one is it Heather?
Yes, Heather. She said she's coordinating a class. She lives in Canada, and she's coordinating a few classes. But the question comes up a lot about fasting, and how does that work? How to do it, and when?
Okay. Well, we're talking about kickstarting tonight and how to get kickstarted. And I happen to have pulled up Titus 2:11. For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men. So everyone can access this salvation from obesity, this salvation from yourself, salvation from Hades, really, is what all of this is self-focus. It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. This is the most ideal scripture for everyone, like overcoming their stronghold, because everyone can say no. Everyone can say no to what their worldly desires are. And so, this is to ungodliness and worldly passions. So that would include overeating. And then it goes on to say, and to live, to say no, and then to live self-control. And so, for you to go, I'm going to fast. And then you get in there and you go, golly, I can't do this, or this is so hard, or whatever. But you can. This salvation has appeared to all men. All men, no one's excluded, all men, all women, and you can say no to that eating. You gotta walk away, go do something else. What they were telling you about is how they're living now. This is almost pretty much all they can remember. If you'll notice, it's kind of almost difficult to go back after you've lost all that weight for so long, to go back in and remember, all of that, because there is an end to it. That's the good news. The difference between dieting, and everyone's done all the diets here. They've all done the diets. We've all done it. Okay, the difference is that here there's an end to this two-master thing where you really want to serve yourself over serving God. So there's an end. They're in the category now of serving God. So it's kind of like, this is fun, this is easy. Why can't everybody just do it? Why can't everybody just say no? Why can't everybody just have a fast? That's because they've gotten rid of themselves, man's number, 666, the mark of the beast, men ruling over God, and they have the Jesus Christ on their foreheads. And so what's up here is ruling them. What God, their Heavenly Father, is ruling them. So you're in the process of switching this out. So how do you fast? You pray about it. you say God rules, and you say no. Just say no. Okay, so we got some more questions coming in here. That was a good question.
Darlene Eddy, you talked about this at the beginning, but you can touch on this more, I'm sure. I'm so excited to get to a healthy weight. I'm down 32 pounds since July and a lot more to go. How do I remain calm and just take it day by day and avoid getting too focused on the end result?
Okay.
So she's lost 32 pounds.
Well, Darlene, I actually could see your picture and you're adorable. And so, I mean, you look super happy in that picture. And look, be thankful, because if you can feel that, I mean, when you know, even if you lost 0.2 pounds, I mean, that feels good. And to feel just a little bit smaller, to feel empty, all of it feels so good. You're always going to be getting another outfit and something else to get you encouraged on. But honestly, it's January. This is a great time. Come on, everybody out there on Facebook. Let's say no and get started. Let's get everybody. I mean, if it's your last 2 pounds, if you're trying to overcome drinking or smoking, or if you're trying to overcome pride, if you're trying to overcome over shopping, not being submissive to your husband or to your boss, or whatever it may be, whatever your vice is, whatever it is, let's say no to ourselves and then focus on God. Every time your mind wanders to your vice, focus on God. And it's a beautiful thing. Darlene, don't you worry about it, and we'll all pray, and may the peace of God come over you.
Okay, this is another great question, and I've personally had people ask me this if they know I've been with you. What do some of your battle plans look like, Gwen?
My
battle plans.
Oh,
like,
okay. So if you're talking about like for eating or whatever, it is a wonderful idea to know what's on your agenda that day, right? And then you can go in there and you're going out to dinner that night, then you're down on your knees and you're praying, God, help me to say no, and then help me, God, with, making sure that I'm in your boundaries with everything. And then I would say there's a part of my day, I don't know if this is a battle plan so much, but it really is a focus that started this ministry, and it's a worry for God. I was praying for God this afternoon, had a still moment, and just telling God, I want to know you even more, and I want to be able to. I'd love even more communications of just, how are you? Like how are you feeling, God? What can I do to help you? Help me help you. Help me, I just want to interact more with God. I don't think you can call that a battle plan, but it certainly is a focus. And the more you focus on God's needs, his pain, his hurt, that the way the world's set up right now with no one calling on him, and there's so much hate out there. It's an incredible amount of hate. I was reading again today just articles of just never seen so much negativity and hate on the internet. I mean, the internet, hey, it opened up the door to information, but boy, what it uncovered was a lot of people that are really in a bad mood. And it seems like the bad mood people and the ones that are so jealous are the ones that are eating up broadband space. I mean, there's so much of it out there. It's so negative on the TVs and the networks and the radio stations and all that. So the people that are more positive don't tend to write about it, but or eat up someone else's time. So just remaining positive is a battle plan. And then if you tend to get down, then look into God's needs and then thinking about someone else's needs. And so I keep a running needy list. Anyway, enough about me. So let's go to the next question.
That's awesome. Okay, Geraldine Birch, she said, the lie of it doesn't really matter, this is absurd, when you only have a few more pounds to lose.
Okay, I want to tell you something. It is very interesting that you're asking this, and a shout out to you, Geraldine, because I mean, honestly, I really do think there needs to be almost like a whole tape series on what in the world happens at 5 o'clock to all of us. You know, it's like that nighttime stuff it's crazy. Like, you know, you work so hard and then all of a sudden you just let everything down. You let everything down. So I think there's a real need for us to understand, like Paul said, we're running this race and who cut in on you? And who cuts in on you at 5 o'clock at night and you get your guard down and it really doesn't matter. That one more, you know, that one extra glass of wine or, you know, whatever it may be, you know, doesn't matter. And yet it very much does matter. It adds up. And so I agree with you. That needs to be studied. Maybe we'll talk some more about that at the next lunch with Gwen or something. So bring that subject back up.
Okay, we have another question, and then we would like to talk about lunch with Gwen, or I would like to talk about it more. It's been so fun. It's been such an amazing thing. This question, real quick, comes from Kathy Conaway, and she said, I would love for you to go over again how to stop with too many sweets. I've been wanting them more than regular food lately.
You know what? People, thank you for saying that, Kathy, and shout out to you. People don't admit it a lot of times. And it could be male, female. I mean, there are people out there that literally, and can I tell you what it's from? Because it's the same thing for the people that, like, have you ever seen people salt their food and it gets all the way to white? It's the same type thing. And here's where it's coming from. It's coming from wanting that burst of a sensation. So the reason why people become overweight to start with is they tune in to that taste, and that taste sends a message up to the brain. The more that you eat, of course, you know the spill. Everything you eat is broken down into just these tiniest of units by the enzymes that are the digestive enzymes, and they are taken across a cell wall into a separate circulating system that's sitting on top of your, you know, if your stomach feels like bloated after you eat, it's because water rushes there and blood rushes there, and it's picking up all these now tiny little units, and this separate circulating system goes up through this portal vein to the liver, and then the liver turns everything into glucose, which is a sugar. And so hunger turned on when it dropped to about 80, but when you start eating, the liver then takes it up to the heart, and the heart pumps it all over the body. So the cells are now eating. Insulin is the gatekeeper and produced by the pancreas, and it's letting all these little glucose molecules, which is a sugar, into every cell. That glucose molecule mixed with one oxygen, one glucose plus one oxygen, starts the Krebs cycle and then gives you energy, and you feel this burst of energy. So when you're a child, you can feel the eating. It makes you feel really good. That's a sensation. The sensation of the taste. You know, you're learning sweet, sour, bitter, you know, hot, cold, everything. But everybody picks up the salty taste. And it's a sensation. It goes down into the taste buds. These nerve endings go up to the brain, and that says salty, sweet, yummy, cinnamon mixed with sugar, or, you know, chocolate mixed with sugar, or anything mixed with sugar, or salt, or whatever. And so you have this thing that's positive reinforcement of all this sugar going on, this beautiful taste. God made the taste. He made it delightful. He did not put sugar cane and all of that honey down on earth to torture us. And honey is the same. You put it under a microscope, honey's the same thing. It's just a liquid form, you know, of the sugar. Karo syrup is from the corn, but honey, and, you know, you got the different sources of it, but the chemical is the same. And so the body doesn't really recognize it as different. It may taste different, but it's not different. So here's the thing, is that you have learned this. So people sometimes think more about up here than the stomach. So the stomach's getting full, you've reached about 120. It should be turning off eating. One of the ways God made your body to turn off your eating behavior is to turn the taste buds down. So they're ratcheted down, and it's almost like you have to eat a higher percentage of sugar, like ice cream or something, to taste, because you're full and that's shut down. And you can't really taste anything but bacon, something super salty, or something super sweet. And you've learned that from overeating. The overeater learns that everything else is shut down. It's almost tasteless. And so what's the use of eating? Because you're looking for that response. You're looking for that big response. It's the law of diminishing returns. It's like, it's great the first bite, the next bite's a little bit less, the next is a little bit less, the next, and then when you get full, it's like, a child that's just not made a lot of no-no foods. You don't sit there and say, you can't eat a sweet, you can't eat this, and they don't have no-no foods and stuff like that, so they don't start sneaking it or thinking like, hiding, eating it because you told them no. They just have regular meals, a little bit of sweets at the end. Those children will tend not to be overweight or whatever, but if you'll notice a child, a thin eater, they're gonna push it, they're gonna be able to push that sweet away. And they don't want to eat because they are focused on the stomach and the pain of overeating. The taste is gone, the pain is coming. I don't want the pain. It's not taste. They're concentrating. There's no taste there anyway. Why do it? The overeater is looking for that stimulus, but I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get it. God's not going to let that idol of overdoing anything. So you can overdo it on anything, but it's not worth it, and it's not. So what's beautiful is for you to realize that you need to listen to the body, and the body is not going to call for that many sweets. You will really start noticing that you get sick of them. And so small amounts, moderation, and then the sweet will actually taste better. Smaller amounts of salt, then all of a sudden you can taste the salt. The more you eat, the less you can taste. The more sugar you eat, it's just, come on, everybody, walk it backwards, say no, start with a fast or something like that. Fast. And then the next thing, you can smell again. And food smells good when you get hungry. It's so beautiful to empty the bloodstream out of the meals that you've been eating. Get empty again, and then start over. When you get hungry, get a small amount, eat in moderations, sit between bites to slow yourself down, then take that napkin or whatever it is, push the food away, push away from the table, say no. Say no. That's what we need to do. So,
yeah, Kathy, she's from Mississippi too, by the way.
Oh, that's. I used to live there. Had a few years there, and so. But anyway, Kathy. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's a beautiful group of people, and you can see from these questions that we're getting from around the world that we are all in this same boat together. But you made it 130, 70, 130, 35, 25, and don't belittle that. But you sit there and think about that. That is a lot of no's, and we all had our plateaus. We've all been stuck, but obviously there's a way to get yourself back thinking it's personal responsibility. God's given us the ability to say no. Take it on yourself. Stop projecting and distractions and wasting your time. Funnel your energy into the transforming your mind. That's why they say they listen to All Access. That's why they're in the Word, listening to this, reading these books, getting way down work, so it doesn't make any difference. All of those books are just full of scriptures, and then with an explanation. It's almost like reading more like a commentary. And so these books are in there teaching you how to do this and then add on top the spiritual warfare here, wow. And so that's why in these books it goes into all the spiritual warfare and what to do, because that's what's going to discourage you and get you. Satan is the one that's going to rob you of your joy. Satan is going to, but when you get in there and you join in with everybody, we all pray for each other and we pray that away. And so let's all pray for each other. Facebook, all y'all, all this beautiful family here, all those that are visiting and watching around the world, please, why not? Let's show the world that God's the answer. And let's all pray for each other, get down on our face and pray. That's 2019. Enough already. Let's say no and let's do it. And I want to just say blessings and God bless every one of you. Thank you for joining us.
Join us on Lunch with Gwen.
Lunch with Gwen.
Angels dance 'cause they're free. Happy sing for eternity. With the God and His Son Jesus, everything is peaceful and gladness. Happy always doing His will. Happy always doing His will. Angels dance 'cause they're free. Happy sing for eternity. With our God and His Son Jesus, everything is peaceful and gladness. Happy always